Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by Spring Hill Suites, Dayton, South Miamisburg, the Hamvention home for Ham Talk Live. Reserve your rooms now at Marriott.com or call 888-850-6391.
It's Ham Radio with Neil Rapp. Here we go. Welcome to Ham Talk Live. Call in, let's talk. Neil's your guy. Ham Talk Live. Here we go on Ham Talk Radio.
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 58. Ham Nation number 300 and the 2017 Young Ham of the Year nominations. With our friend Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, recorded live on Thursday, March 30th, 2017. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by the one and only Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week, Pat Barkey was on the show in 9RV. He's the editor of the National Contest Journal. He talked about that and his amazing contest antenna array out in Montana. So if you missed that show, all you got to do is go to hamtalklive.com or on any of those podcasting thingies, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, SoundCloud, or over on YouTube and a lot of others. You can catch it anywhere that has podcast things on it. So catch that, and we'll get your questions ready to go. Whenever we get ready, the phone number to call is 812-NET-HAM1. It's 812-638-4261. Or you can call us straight on Skype, and that username is Ham Talk Live. You can also tweet us. Our Twitter handle is @HamTalkLive, and so we'll talk to Don for a little bit, and then we'll give you a chance to call in and chime in. One other thing I wanted to mention here before we take our first break. Got an email from By Two-Way Radios, and they have a podcast called the Two-Way Radio Show Podcast, and they were talking about this new TYT MD 2017 dual band DMR radio, and we're speculating when it would show up, because the last one, they're still waiting on it to show up, and so they decided they were going to have some fun with it and do a contest, and they've invited the Ham Talk Live listeners to join in that contest. All you have to do is guess the date that they get the radio, and whoever gets closest will win one. And so they're trying to spread the word to hams, and extended an invitation to us. The contest entry ends on April 30th, or when the radio actually shows up, whichever comes first. So make your best guess, and maybe you'll win. And we've got a link to that contest on our Facebook and our Twitter feed. So go on over there and enter, and maybe you can win a new DMR radio. So check that out. Well, it seems like every April 1st, we get a new sponsor on the show, and this year is no exception. We've got a new sponsor tonight here on Ham Talk Live. It's the Magic Smoke Replacement System from QRM Labs.
Hello, Willie Mays back again to help you make your ham shack better. One time or another, it's probably happened to you. You let the magic smoke out of something in your shack. Maybe it was a power supply, a radio, or a project you were building. You plug it in, and the magic smoke that makes it all work somehow escaped. Well, we have the solution just for you. It's the Magic Smoke Replacement System. Fix that favorite rig, accessory, or project by putting the magic smoke back in. The Magic Smoke Replacement System comes with 7.5 ounces of magic smoke, a syringe with a tiny needle, and a table to measure how much magic smoke you need for each part. Just fill the syringe to the right amount, inject it back in, and presto! It all works again. But wait, there's more. Order in the next 30 seconds, and you can get 2 bottles of magic smoke for the price of 1. To order the Magic Smoke Replacement System for just $39.73, call 985-655-2500. That's 985-655-2500. Call now, 985-655-2500.
Well, there you go. It's the Magic Smoke Replacement System from QRM Labs, and well, wouldn't it be nice? Thanks to Andy Morris and K9AWM for recording that for us, and he'll be back once again later on in the show, but I'll be back with Don right after this actual word from Tower Electronics, who's really a sponsor tonight right here on Ham Talk Live. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you in part by Tower Electronics. Tower Electronics has been the Ham's Dime store since 1978. When you need connectors, mobile and handheld antennas, cables, or adapters, visit Scott or Jill at a Hamfest near you. Or you can order online at pl-259.com or call 920-435-2973. Stock up on those supplies like PL259 and N connectors, SMA adapters, audio cables, soldering supplies, mobile antennas, and ham sticks. Their silver-plated N connectors are even used on the International Space Station. Tower Electronics carries MFJ, Comet, Daiwa, OPEC, Workman, and Ham Pro products. And don't miss their 0% off sale going on now. Tower Electronics, online at pl-259.com, proud to sponsor this episode of Ham Talk Live.
Coming to you live from the glass enclosed Faraday box, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Thanks to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show tonight. To help bring you Ham Talk Live, they're at the Mobile, Alabama Ham Fest on April 8th and also in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And then on April 22nd, they'll be at Calhoun, Georgia. Or you can give them a call at 920-435-2973 or visit their website, pl-259.com. And tell them you heard it on Ham Talk Live. We're on the air every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at hamtalklive.com. And if you miss the show live, you can listen on the archive on the website or download it from most podcasting services. Brave enough to return to the show for the third time. You're setting another record. You set a record last time.
Stupid enough to come back. Well, I mean, neither of us have anything better to do.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. You know him from Amateur Radio Newsline and Ham Nation, and his day job is working at or at least they say he works at the iHeart Media radio stations in New Orleans, producing commercials, and formerly an on-air personality. He's a native of Shawnee, Oklahoma, and first licensed in 1995, and he's an extra class license holder, an active volunteer examiner. He loves his Harry's razor, and I'm not sure which he loves more, that or his new DX160 from Radio Waves.
Well, I've been using them both about the same lately, which is not much, unfortunately.
So now, almost live from Picayune, Mississippi, it's Don Wilbanks. Thanks for coming on the show. You're always welcome. And
Thank you. Have you ever been to the Mobile Ham Fest? Speaking of that,
I have not.
It's a good little ham fest.
I have not.
Mobile's fun.
that's too far south for me most of the time.
That's true.
Get
You're
the
way up there.
Huntsville thing, but I forget how many hours it is even to Huntsville, but
it's about
it's
5
a
for
late
me.
night. Yeah, it's a late night for me.
5 or 6, yeah. Yeah, it's about 6. Because Huntsville to Dayton for me is Huntsville's halfway.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. Dayton is 12 hours from me. Orlando is about 12, 13 hours from me. And Shawnee, Oklahoma is about 12, 13 hours from me. So it's just like, 3 of my favorite places is 12, 13 hours away from me. And if I was to... if I'm to stay in my chosen profession of broadcasting from where I live here in Picayune, New Orleans is 63 miles away from me. Gulfport, Mississippi is 63 miles away from me, and Hattiesburg, Mississippi is 63 miles away from me. Those are the 3 closest radio markets. So it's like I'm right in the middle of freaking nowhere. It seems like.
Well, the next big one on my list is Orlando. I haven't been to Hamcation, and I don't know how in the world I'm going to pull it off because of the time of year that it is. I'm right in the middle of my teaching schedule and everything, but somehow, some way, I want to make it down there at least once and check
Orlando
that one
and
out.
Dallas are both on my bucket list one of these days.
Yeah, some good shows out there, and look forward to seeing what all happens at Dayton. And we've got a bunch of preview shows coming up about that here real soon.
I'm excited about Dayton because it's the first year at the new place.
Yeah.
So Hera had such a mystique and a je ne sais quoi, which I think is French for funkiness. But it had just such a, I don't know, the Hera Arena was, I think, as big a part of Ham Nation as of Hamvention as Ham Radio was. It's just it was, you couldn't say Dayton without saying Hera, and to have it now in Xenia in the new place, it's the beginning of a new tradition. And I think that I think it's going to be something great. I'm excited to be going for the first year at Xenia. I really am.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're going to get there, and
Me too.
It's going to be better. I mean, it has to be better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But now the thing is, as you know, if you've gone to Dayton for a number of years, it takes you about 3 years to figure out where everything is.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So,
I remember I was doing an interview for Newsline, and there was this girl that was coming out from New York State, I think it was, that had done a video blog, and she'd never been to Dayton, and so she was like, so how do I, what's my plan? What do I do? What do I have to go see first? Where do I go? And it's like, I have that Hera Arena layout, which was not easy because
convoluted.
Yes. You had to know where all the secret hallways were and everything. And so I always had my plan. And so I'd go in, I'd go to this forum, I'd go to this forum, then I'd go, I'm over here on this side, so I can go here. And I knew where everything was. If you need that, you go over to this room, the room with the wood floor on it, and you go in there.
Yes, right. That's exactly what the one with the gold curtains. Right. The one you go up Audio Alley, and then you take a right, and you go in there. Don't go straight. Don't go through the food court area. You got to go through that hall, and you can go. The little stairs are up the ramp, and then from there you can get over to the hallway to go to the. Oh my God! It was and right, pointing out where the good bathrooms were. It's going to be it's going to be so cool to think fondly about all the mess that Hera was, but it was such a tradition, and the venue had the venue was a good bit of what Hamvention was. It was the thing you love to hate, and so to be in this new venue is just and a lot of it be outside. I think is going to be great as long as the weather holds.
Yeah. Now, you brought up the bathrooms. Now,
yes,
I had my favorite bathroom picked out. Where was your favorite bathroom?
Probably the ones over by the forum rooms.
Ah, you got it.
Now there was another one that was off in a little hallway that was over, I think, on the other side of the forum rooms. that it was behind. I think there was a little, almost like a little food area on the wall of one of those of that, and you could go to that one back there, and that one was probably the road less traveled, so to speak.
Yeah, and last year that was where Emmett did the Superstation. They had it back there in that little entrance there.
You know, I started going to Dayton in '99, and not once have I ever been able to find the special event station. I've always wanted to work it, but so I'm gonna that's gonna be one of my goals at Xenia, is to try to find the special event station and actually operate.
Yeah, one of my goals is to help him out with that a little bit more. I ended up doing it a little bit last year, just kind of by default, and so I'm going to try to get some time blocked out to do that.
Just the Hohensies at Radio Waves Antennas are just the best people.
Oh yeah,
they've become such dear friends of us, of my family, and both Dawn and Tyler, and they're just I don't know, just class people. Love them to death.
Yeah, so. and Emmett just told me he's coming on the show next week to do some spring antenna stuff. So
perfect.
We're looking forward to having him on. Well, tell us about this big thing, Ham Nation 300. You've been sending out the memes on the Twitter. I don't know if you saw QRZ.com today, but somebody had clicked on the link just because it had Les Nessman on it. And so this guy says, I had to click on it because it had Les Nessman on it, and so he said his favorite line was WKRP in Cincinnati, where we have more music and less Nessman. Yes,
exactly. One of my favorite scenes is where he's reading the news and he's doing the PGA report, and he calls Chichi Rodriguez Chai Rodriguez.
Yep.
And of course Johnny Fever's standing behind him, and he reaches over and he puts his hand over the mic and he goes, Chichi Rodriguez. And Les goes, what? He says his name is Chichi Rodriguez. And Les goes back and says, Mr. Rodriguez. It's just freaking hilarious. But anyway, so you've been seeing, maybe if you follow social media, these hashtag Ham Nation 300 memes. And yes, I'm the guilty party. I've been putting those out. Well, we're actually making the official announcement on Ham Nation next week as to what that's all about. What I can tell you is that without spilling all of the beans, is that as events go, this one will be special.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Don Wilbanks, and thanks and good night. No,
we've done those before. We did one for episode 100. We did one for episode 200. Well, we're going to do something for episode 300. But every time we kind of kick it up a notch, and we're doing that again this year. So there's going to be a lot of new twists as to what the soiree will be. So we'll be talking about that. And actually, the number 300th episode will be the week of Dayton.
Oh my!
We're planning on doing this without giving away too much, the week after. So because it's, with us all going to be in Dayton, or a bit of us in Dayton, you can't really do something like that and try to do any kind of an operating event, which is what it'll be. So it's scheduled for the week after. So, but anyway, a lot more information is forthcoming. We're having another planning meeting by Skype with the principals Saturday. So I'll have to take a break from the AM rally and probably not go to the car show, that my spring car show. And I'm going to hang out and play AM and talk about Ham Nation 300. So yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned AM rally, because I meant to mention that.
Yeah, I've got more memes coming up that I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do yet. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with Starsky and Hutch. I'm trying to find a Starsky and Hutch picture of them in the car on the radio, because my first thing was try to find pictures of everybody on some kind of a microphone, and I have not found a Starsky and Hutch image of them on the microphone yet. So that's like the holy grail for me right now. So.
Very interesting.
Sure, there'll be some Smokey and the Bandit. I'm sure some.
Yeah.
I think I've already done one, but there'll be another. So.
Yeah. Somebody had picked up Starsky and Hutch again. Can't remember if it was Antenna TV or Me
Probably,
TV,
yeah.
Cozy.
Yeah.
One of those that I watch all the time. They had
show.
picked it back up. Yeah,
Great. Yeah.
So yeah, you may have some luck there.
So that's what the Ham Nation 300 thing is all about. It's going to be an operating event, and above and beyond that, I really can't tell you more. But you can tune into Ham Nation next week.
There you go. So we'll have to check that out. And the meme thing has been pretty entertaining. So
yeah, those
good
are fun.
job on that. Yeah,
Those are fun. It's funny how something I'll be making or doing something about something entirely different, and I'll look at it and I'll go, oh wait a minute, I can mess with that Ham Nation 300 wise, and that's how the one about the dog and the cone of shame came about yesterday. I was making a comment to somebody else about something, and it was a light bulb moment. So all the good stuff comes when you're not looking for it, you know.
Now with this show, it happens when I'm driving.
Yeah.
I'll be driving and I'll be thinking about, now what can we do on the show that'd be fun? And it just, all of a sudden it's there.
Yeah. And by the time you get home, you've forgotten it.
Exactly. I was working on the April Fool's ads. That's exactly what happened 2 months ago. I had thought of this, and I thought, oh, we're going to do the magic smoke. We're going to put the magic smoke back in the in the components, and I went, oh, I better get that produced. I better get writing that up. So I'm writing, and I'm going like,
welcome to my world.
What was it that we were going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, and I did the Photoshop thing. I made a print ad for that, and that's now on our Facebook and Twitter, so and Instagram. Right. So you have to check out the magic smoke picture, and we may or may not have. Okay, we will have another one coming up here in a little bit, so they're going to be on there too. All right, well, let's talk about the 2017 Bill Pasternak Amateur Radio Newsline Young Ham of the Year Award, or as I like to call it, YHOTY.
Yep, YHOTY.
Yes. We want to talk about that. I know you said the first nomination came in today, so
it
remind us all about who needs to be nominated, how you nominate, all that stuff.
Well, everything you need to know, and the nominating form can be found in one central place, and that is the Amateur Radio Newsline webpage, which is arnewsline.org. And right up on top, there is a button labeled YHOTY, and if you click on that, it tells you what the award is. More importantly, who's eligible, and most importantly, the nomination form. And it's we set a pretty high standard because, we've been doing this for 30 years now. I think last year was the 30th. The 30th award that we've given out. There was 1 year we didn't do one, so it would have been 31. But anyway, so we've been doing it for a long time, and we've had some extremely impressive young people who have won this award. So it's not like you can just write a letter and go, hey, my 8-year-old's an extra and calls Annette. Can you give him a radio? That ain't how it works. I mean, it's you look back at some of our previous winners. We've got, your student, Padraig Lysandru, KC9UUS, I believe is called.
Yes.
He's now working for SpaceX. We had Erin King, and I can't remember her call off the top of my head, but she was doing some things with the Google Loon project, which, if you remember about that was an experimental thing to try to bring Wi-Fi internet or high-speed internet to the continent of Australia, including the outback, all done by high-altitude balloons. I mean, it's amazing that the things that some of these young kids are doing. And, I always kind of halfway jokingly, compare myself to them and say, well, and here I am in my mid-50s sitting in the corner eating my crayons, and it's not that far from the truth, I got to tell you. But no, it's absolutely amazing. So the bar is set high. And the bar is not set high by us. The bar is set high by the caliber of our previous recipients. And so go online, look at the go ahead and pull down the nominating form. It's in a Word document, and look at it, and you'll see just exactly what kind of information we need. And do a little bit of research and go back and look at and see what some of these previous young hams have been doing. And if you know someone who fits the bill, by all means, nominate them. And there is no such thing as too much information. We don't want a blank spot on those nominating forms. If you can, the more you can tell us, the better off it'll be for us. To narrow down a winner, and the better off it'll be for your nominee to be noticed by our judging committee. And it's not who you know. We've had a couple of winners over the years that have been Newsline staffers, and it has absolutely nothing to do with who you know, who you are. It's all on the merit of the young person that's nominated, and it's something that was near and dear to the late great Bill Pasternak, WDA6ITF's heart. His big thing in life was education and making sure that this hobby continues, this hobby and this service continues. And like anything else, if you've got a club and suddenly, you don't work to bring new members into your club, well, people are going to leave by attrition. People are going to die, and before you know it, it's going to be you and that other goofball that you don't particularly care for. It's just going to be you two in the club, and nobody wants that. So you got to bring new people into the club, and there's new things going on in the hobby and the service all the time anyway. So share that with the youth, and then sit back as you become a seasoned ham or whatever you want to call yourself, and watch the fun, because that's the coolest part about getting to know these young hams is looking at the things, A, that they've done, and B, the things that they're doing, and C, think about the things they're going to do. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. And you know that from knowing Padraig Lysandru and his two sisters and his family and all those other great kids that you have in your ham radio club there at the school. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I sure do, and I've been able to get to know many of the winners that weren't at school. We may talk about some of them here after the break.
We've got to talk about Anna Veal.
Anna Veal. Yeah, Anna. Yeah,
2015 W0ANT. We'll talk about Anna Veal coming up later.
Anna's doing something really cool as we speak.
Right now.
We'll have to talk about that. But we've had a lot of great kids come through our program and others and around the country, and so a lot of those show up at the Hamvention Youth Forum and speak there, and so I've been able to get to know most of those kids, and they're really something, and they do not disappoint.
Nope.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll take your calls at 812-NET-HAM1 and your tweets and whatever else right after this message from another one of our new sponsors today. It's Invisitina from QRM Labs right here on Ham Talk Live.
Hello, Willie Mays back again to help make your ham radio experience better. Maybe you have problems with your neighborhood homeowners association, or the wife just doesn't think a huge 40-meter beam looks great in the backyard. Well, Ham Talk Systems has just what you need. It's the Invisitina. Invisitina is a 3-element Yagi that is completely invisible. Just inflate the antenna, mount it, and you'll never see it again. Invisitina is available for 40 meters or a tri-bander for 20, 15, and 10. No one will ever know it's there. But wait, there's more. For a limited time only, order now and you can get a free Invisitower. Mount your Invisitina to your Invisitower and no one will know you have antennas at all. Not even you. To order the Invisitina with your free Invisitower for just $38.23 and 73 cents, call 985-655-2500. That's 985-655-2500. Call now, 985-655-2500, and appreciate the true meaning of having a stealth antenna.
Oh, yeah. You're talking ham radio, baby. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Join the conversation. Call us on voice with Skype at Ham Talk Live or give us a call at 812-NET-HAM1. That's 812-638-4261. Now, here's more Ham Talk Live.
And we are back. Check out the pictures of the Invisatenna and Invisitower on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can't even tell it's there. Be sure to listen every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here at hamtalklive.com. Check out our Facebook page and Twitter feed. Just search for Ham Talk Live. And Don, I had you muted. You were saying?
I said I'd look for those, but I didn't see anything.
Yeah, it's like you couldn't see a thing. Oh, my. Well, it's time for your calls. If you have a question for Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, call right now at 812-NET-HAM1 for the alphabetically challenged. That's 812-638-4261, or you can Skype us.
That Invisitent is just what you need to get past your HOA.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
perfect.
It's the... I've forgotten the...
I threw you off.
I've forgotten the...
yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That's
so
embarrassing.
Invisible, it completely evaded
It's so invisible, it totally erased from my mind.
About it.
The Parity Act, that's it. It's the solution to the Parity Act.
In this case, spelled P-A-R-O-D-Y.
Yes, Parody. Yes, exactly. It's exactly it. So, give us a call, 812-NET-HAM1, or Skype us or tweet us at Ham Talk Live, and we'll talk about that. Let's go ahead and talk about Anna for a second. I've got some tweets here, but let's talk about Anna, because Anna's out in Las Vegas right now.
Right, IWCE.
The IWCE, and she just got a few hours ago a presentation there and an award.
Radio Club of America 2017, and I can't remember the exact complete name of the award, but they honor another young person there, Carol Perry, and her Radio Club of America and that bunch and everything, and just, I was so proud of Anna. Anna is funny, and she's witty, and she's amazing, and I'm so fond of her and that whole family. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, really cool stuff, and so we posted that video from that from her dad on our Facebook page, so you can check that out over at the Ham Talk Live Facebook page. And I was going to try, the last two times you were on, Don, we did the game show things, and it was a lot of fun, but I know it was kind of silly, and I thought,
that was fun. I like silly.
This time we're going to try to make it like, we're going to try to make it, a little toned down, a little calmer and everything, and so then I look and see what week it is, and I'm like, oh, it's April Fool's Week. Oh no!
You see where that's gotten us.
There goes the plan. So, in the spirit of that.
Yes.
Dr. Scott Wright, K0MD.
Love that guy.
I do too. But question number one that came in from Twitter just now. In the spirit of that, question number one, is Neil still young enough to be nominated for Young Ham of the Year?
Not just no, but no.
Let me repeat that in Spanish.
Yes.
No.
No.
When I was young enough to be nominated for Young Ham of the Year, there wasn't such a thing as Young Ham of the Year. So
that's right. Neil is. I'm not saying Neil is old and that he was a really young ham, but his first radio was gas powered.
Yeah,
coal.
Exactly. Yeah, coal fired. Yep, that was it. And he also
with smoke signals.
Yeah, exactly. It was hard to keep those blankets from burning.
You thought tubes were hot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he also says, please share with Don that we all appreciate his work to promote amateur radio, and also let me chime in. I was on a net earlier at 8 o'clock on the Crossroads Reflector. We've got a wide area net starting here in the Midwest, and KC9ZAR, Jerry was on there, and Andy, K9AWM, and some others, and they also said, be sure to tell Don that they appreciate all the work that he does with Newsline and Ham Nation and Young Ham of the Year and all that. So,
well, thank you.
Kudos to you.
It's there is no there's no I in team, and I just happen to be the most visible member because of my association with Ham Nation and the fact that I've been with Newsline for 22 years now. So I just happen to be, I guess, kind of the face of it now since Bill has passed away. But it is a total and complete team effort. It's people like Neil, who now is a correspondent for us. It's people like Paul Brown, WD9GCO. It's people who have been with us for a long time, people who are just coming in with us, and especially Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, who took over the writing and the editing duties for Bill when he passed away. And I have got to tell you that she has been an absolute godsend and an answer to our prayers.
She has been, no doubt about it.
Oh.
And she
she's
even helped.
funny.
Oh yeah, she even helped me
God,
with
funny.
writing those scripts for Andy to record for those ads. She even helped
She's
out
great.
on the.
And I'll tell you something about
Invisitina.
Dr. Scott Wright. He came to New Orleans and took me out to lunch. So again, Doc, thanks a lot for that. That was a great afternoon. And next time you come down, I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, and it's and we've got National Physicians Day coming up. So thanks to Scott for.
Good. I'll have to send him a
everything he
picture
does.
of. I'll have to send him a picture of the middle finger and ask him if this looks infected. That's my favorite thing.
Oh,
you got a medical
no.
background, yeah? Well, here, does this look infected to you?
Oh my! Well, speaking of Scott, the second question here, also in the spirit of whatever.
Yeah.
Reflecting back to the last time, or no, the first time you were on the show, actually. Would you rather use an OCF dipole or a resonant dipole? Would you rather use low power or high power, AM or SSB?
Well, I'm kind of a big fan of the whole shack in a box thing. So, one of my favorite radios, several of my favorite radios have been like the ICOM 746, which is, HF through 6 meters. I had a couple of ICOM 706s, HF through 440, and an ICOM 7000 HF through 440. So I'm a big fan of the shack in a box thing, and hence I'm a big fan of multiband antennas. I like off-center fed dipoles. I have 2 of them hanging up. I've got both of them from Emmett and Radio Waves. I've got an 80 meter DX80, and I just put up in the last couple of weeks a 160 meter DX160, both from Emmett. And I got to say, I really like being able to just jump over there and hit that antenna selector on my 7600 ICOM and go from one antenna to the other. So I'm a big fan of off-center fed. So yeah, one of those rather than a whole bunch of antennas for me, because I just don't have the space for it here where I am. What were the other 2 questions?
Oh, it was AM or SSB.
Doesn't matter. I like AM because I'm going to run the. Going to try to do the AM rally this weekend. Really excited about that. I cut my teeth on CB radio, which was AM. Before I saved up and got a sideband radio. So no, AM is fun. AM is fun because nobody does it anymore. That's what I like about. Well, I take that back. A lot of people do it, but not a lot of people do it. So it's not the mainstream anymore. And
this weekend's a good weekend for that because it's that AM rally,
Right.
and I totally meant to have that information
Yes.
in front of me, but I know
Yes.
it's on Newsline. So
It
you can
is,
catch
and
it on
also just
Newsline.
go to, I think it's amrally.com, or just search AM Rally, and you'll find everything you need to know.
Yeah, so check that out. And
third question. What was the third question?
Oh, a QRP or a couple of thousand.
I don't own an amplifier. I never have. So I'm a 100-watt guy, but I'll turn it down when I just to see. So 100 watts is plenty for me.
All right, very good. Well, thanks, Scott, for sending in the questions, and we
stuff.
do have time for one more. So give us a call or a tweet or a Skype at 812-NET-HAM1 or at hamtalklive and get your questions or comments in for Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. While we're waiting here, I know you've been doing some reflections on some of the past winners on Newsline, and so let's talk about a few of those past winners. We talked about Anna, that's out in Vegas right now, and got another award, and we talked about Patrick. He's out at JPL right now doing some stuff, and he's going to be working for Blue Origin this summer.
Cool.
So he's going to be working there. Skyler is in his freshman year out in New Mexico, and he put together a repeater, I know, and I was going to send him some repeater stuff. And
I saw the video that they did
with
of
him,
that.
but
That was
he did
really good piece.
So how about some of these others?
I can tell you, and this immediately comes to mind for two reasons. A, it's the person who introduced me to Bill Pasternak, a young ham of the year from New Orleans. He was in 93. I got licensed in 95. So he introduced me to Bill in 95. And also the fact that I just found out that he will be at the Huntsville Ham Fest this year. And it's been a long time since I've seen him. I mean, like probably 15 years maybe since I've seen him. So it'll be really good to see Kevin again. That's Kevin Boudreaux, N5XMH. He was the 93 Young Ham of the Year winner. And what brought him to our attention was during a hurricane that came through, I think it was Gilbert. Because Gilbert's known for South Florida, but it also came through New Orleans. And he was in a shelter with his handheld radio as a 16-year-old kid, I think, 15, 16-year-old kid. And there was nobody else there. There was no one from the Red Cross. There wasn't any law enforcement or anyone there. And they lost the roof. Well, he was able to keep everybody safe and get the word out and get all those people rescued. There was no injury. There was no loss of life. And so that is what got him to be the Young Ham of the Year winner. And so, again, he conned me into riding along with me to Huntsville. He hit me on the repeater one day and said, "I'm going to go to the Huntsville Ham Fest. Do you go?" And I said, "Well, I didn't give it any thought. I didn't know what was at the Huntsville Ham Fest." He said, "Well, that's where they do the Young Ham of the Year award." And I had been listening to Newsline anyway since before I got licensed when I was studying. And so I said, "You know what? Yeah." He said, "I'll be happy to split the gas in the hotel." And I said, "Well, yeah, let's go." And he said, "Great, I'll introduce you to Bill." And, that got me started in this, to where I am now, essentially. That was what got me to the point that I am right now in my ham radio career.
And then you drag people like Paul and me and everybody else in. And I think what you called it last time you were on was indentured servitude.
Well, that was what Bill called
what it was. Yes.
I don't believe. No, indentured, maybe. I don't know. You guys have all your teeth?
Yeah, actually, I have all mine.
Then you're not indentured.
I guess I'm not.
See,
I
Dr.
don't
Rice
have any
laughing
dentures.
at the medical joke. Well,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was funny.
It was. I have to remind my students every once in a while that my chemistry jokes are funny. They
Exactly.
They have to be reminded every once in a while.
Stand by, humor on the way.
Yes. Coming up next.
That's right.
In organic chemistry. It's another organic chemistry joke. I told one today is that it takes all kinds to make a world, and they just sat there. They didn't. We were talking about alkynes, and they didn't get it.
I think I worked with him. Alkyne?
Alkyne, yeah. He was in radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all band.
Yeah. Well, once again, the 45 minutes has flown by, and we are out of time. So, Don, thank you for coming back on again.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're
and it's
always
good to know
welcome.
That, the scam continues. So,
yep, it does.
It's a slow day. We'll have Don on. Well,
we'll have Don on. Yeah.
And thanks for letting me talk about Bill and everything else. I really appreciate it. And get your YHOTY nominations in.
Yep, get them in.
Thanks,
we got to get those in so we can pick those out. Or I'm not picking them out, but the committee is. So that is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to Don Wilbanks, AE5DW, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and tweeting in. Next Thursday night, 9 p.m., Emmett, W0QH from Radio Waves. The chief engineer will be here to talk about all your spring antenna projects, so don't miss that, and he'll be taking your questions live. And for a list of all of our upcoming guests and shows, visit hamtalklive.com. And with booth announcer Andy Morrison, K9AWM, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and as Les would say, may the good DX be yours.